Or okay,
Yeah.
now it's recording.
Okay, so the questions
cool. Yeah,
were.
I can put it in the chat.
Yeah, what did you find challenging as the facilitator, and then what did you learn in this activity about facilitating a support group?
I guess I can answer first.
Okay.
Oh, I win. So I think that it's hard being the facilitator when people aren't participating or when they're, angry about it, Like there were times where like one of you was the silent one and one of you was the complainer, and it's just like nobody wanted to be there, and it's hard for you to want to help them when they don't want to be there or don't want to say or share anything, And then learning about facilitating a support group, I guess, that you want to find people who want to participate, obviously, and that it would be good to be like prepared ahead of time with some topics. We like kind of were prepared on a couple of things, but we also had times where we were like, and then we could talk about this. I don't know. So being prepared, I guess, helps.
And I felt like I tried to prepare as best I could, but also I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe it just takes like doing a few, like you'll just get better at it over time.
Yeah, definitely.
We're supposed to share our observations too.
Oh yeah.
Those might be like the same thing as answering the question, so.
Pretty much.
Yeah, or we can also just open if you want to like share that. Like I don't know how you felt as being the silent one. I think we all struggled with certain roles.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like a jerk with the complainer one.
Yeah, I had a hard time being a complainer.
Yeah, I don't think I really was a complainer as much as I tried.
You did feel like when I was facilitator, I could tell that you were the complainer. Like you sounded bitter, which is good. That was the role.
Mm-hmm. I tried.
Good job. With roles that weren't helpful, want to be helpful. We want to be a good group member to one another. Being the silent one or being the complainer, anything that wasn't struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Want to come off as mean because we know we all aren't, but being mean.
Yeah. Being silent's weird too because like you don't it's hard to explain. It's like you're there, you came to a support group, so why aren't you talking? You know what I'm saying? But I guess there's definitely people who would like need the help and kind of seek it out without actually knowing what to say, what to do.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's hard. I think it's harder because we're in the class. We're in the HS, the 401 class, and we know how it's supposed to be. And it's harder to act out those roles because you're like, oh man, well, I wish I'd never had to deal with that person. But then you have to deal with, you get to act it out.
It was also interesting. We had a hard time not like laughing at each other at some things, and it's like, okay, that's fine because we're not being that serious. But if it was actually somebody saying that, it probably would have been really bad to laugh at them if they like actually didn't know that it was bad to put caramel on apples, or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
They were glazed apples.
Glazed apples. Glazed apples.
Yeah. And his dog has diabetes too.
And my dog has diabetes.
And I was like, oh, I'm the facilitator. I shouldn't be.
Oh man.
A challenge was just like, it was so awkward because like you're in charge and everybody's looking at you to like run it, but it was the first time, so you're like, it's a little rocky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it would also help to have a bigger group. Because if I asked like a too specific of a question, and like especially if like one of you was the silent one, then it's like, okay, there's only 2 people here that could possibly answer me, really. So,
and one of them's gonna complain about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not want to be there, etc.
I think. Well, I personally think that if it was more like live, like we were all together in the same building, except it's like instead of being through online. It would have been more of a better situation. You feel more like a one-on-one, well, I don't know, personal feeling on it.
It would have felt more like a group than people just getting together. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that makes
Like,
sense. Like we're in.
It's also
So
harder
cool,
to
though. I
like.
like.
Oh, you go.
Sorry.
You get.
I was gonna say
no,
it's
I was
really
gonna
hard
say,
to
like,
not interrupt each other. That was literally the point I was trying to make.
sometimes people get mad. And it was like, okay, in person. But like I was gonna say that experience interesting. At first I didn't think it was gonna be into the role and actually learn from it, but as it went along, it, like, I don't know, you kind of go into your role and you get the experience from it. So I actually kind of liked it.
Yeah. It was an interesting experience. It was nice.
It's also interesting that, like, when I was being the silent one, like, I think sometimes we think, like, they don't have anything to say because they're not saying anything, but, like, I was still thinking about things, you know?
Yeah.
I wasn't, like, totally spacing off thinking about something else. I just wasn't talking. So
Right.
we could maybe be a little bit less bitter towards people who aren't talking. Be like, they probably are processing things. They just aren't saying them to me, and that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, and also, like, I mean, being the silent one in a bigger support group, it's kind of intimidating because we had to do, because I was in nursing, and we actually had to go to a support group, like AA, and so it was like 20 people. You feel awkward for sure. Like, you don't really want to say anything. It's kind of scary, even though I was there for observation.
Yeah, that is interesting because, like, we're all here to do an assignment, so we're like, yeah, we look dumb, but we all look dumb, so whatever. But I don't think people have the same attitude in an actual support group, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
No, it's interesting.
Right. Anybody else have anything to say?
Well, no, last thing. I think as a facilitator, you also, now that we're talking about a bigger group, I think for a facilitator here, you have to be really prepared. Like you were saying, Haley, in the beginning, to like have 20 people in the same room and try to have a conversation about this certain topic. And I think, as I was reading the book online, it didn't hit my mind, and like it didn't cross my mind that it is really, really difficult to have control over 20 more, a lot of people at the same time.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just 4 of us, and it's just like, oh yeah, you go, you go, you go. But then in the 20 group, it's just like, oh, dang.
Yeah, we also were able to, like, switch from topic to topic really fast, but that wouldn't be, like, we would probably be able to just cover one thing in an hour, you know, when you had a whole bunch of people and they were all sharing things, it'd be a lot different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it, you think?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Good for my part.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.
Okay.
I'm going to wait a
Okay.
second in case I get stopped. Okay, we're good.